I'm Sarah, a registered psychologist and someone who's been through burnout myself. And something I've noticed, both in my own life and with the people I work with, is this really common, sneaky pattern. When we're burnt out, we don't just feel tired, we lose perspective. Let me know if this sounds familiar. You're staying late at work, saying yes to everything, constantly doing something, but your house is a mess. You haven't had a real meal in days, and life feels like it's constantly one step ahead of you. And I've seen this pattern with so many clients over the years. Folks who are in the thick of burnout but just keep saying yes. Coaching soccer, volunteering, helping friends with home renos, all the while their own home, health, and rest are neglected. Not because they don't care, but because burnout makes it really hard to say no. It skews our priorities and makes us feel like we have to keep going. That's what burnout does. It pulls us into overfunctioning in one area, usually where we feel most competent or most needed. And we start underfunctioning in other areas without even realizing it. We're spinning our tires in one lane, thinking we're being productive, when really we're deepening the burnout cycle. And because burnout messes with your self-awareness, you often don't see the imbalance until something breaks, or you do. So today, we're going to talk about why burnout creates this lopsided pressure, what this imbalance can look like in everyday life, and how to gently slow down, zoom out, and get back to what actually matters without guilt. So if you're running on empty, but still pushing harder, you're in the right place. So how does burnout skew perception and create imbalance? When we talk about burnout, we often focus on exhaustion, but it's not just physical or emotional. Burnout warps how we see things. It narrows your field of vision so that you focus all your energy on one area, usually the one that feels most urgent, familiar, or gives you a sense of control. That's why so many of us overfunction in one role, like work, parenting, caregiving, or even organizing, while underfunctioning in everything else. And it's not because we don't care, it's because we're in survival mode. When your nervous system is stuck in go, 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 you start clinging to the areas where you feel competent and avoid the ones you feel overwhelmed in. That's how people end up burning themselves out even more, while the rest of life quietly falls apart. So what does imbalance look like in real life? Here are some real life signs that you might be caught in this pattern, and none of them mean you're doing something wrong. They just mean your system is overextended. You're hyper-organized at work, but there's a growing pile of unopened mail at home. You're saying yes to every school email and team request, but you forget to refill your own prescriptions. You're constantly checking off tasks, but haven't had a real moment of rest in weeks. You're laser focused on one area and feeling increasingly anxious about everything else that's slipping. This imbalance is so common during burnout. It's like having one wheel spinning furiously while the rest of the car is breaking down. And the thing is, when you're in the middle of it, you often can't see it. Burnout takes away your perspective. You just keep pushing harder in the same direction, hoping it'll eventually balance out, but it usually doesn't. So how to gently rebalance? Here's the good news. You don't need to overhaul your life to start feeling better. You just need a few intentional shifts to interrupt that cycle. Here are 5 that can help. Slow down, even when it feels like you should speed up. This goes against every instinct during burnout, but slowing down helps you reset your nervous system. Try walking slower, doing one thing at a time, taking 3 slow breaths before you move to the next task. These micro pauses help shift you out of survival mode and give your brain room to think clearly. Number 2, zoom out. Find the big picture again. Block off 10 minutes, no distractions, and ask, where have I been overfunctioning? What's been quietly slipping through the cracks? Is the way I'm spending my energy actually helping? You might even do a quick brain dump of all the roles you're juggling. Then circle one thing that needs more of your attention and one thing that can wait. Number 3, set kind boundaries. If you've been saying yes automatically, it's time to check back in with what's actually sustainable. Try saying phrases to yourself like, "That sounds important, but I don't have the capacity right now." "I'm at my limit and I'm trying to be more intentional with my energy." "I can get back to that person once I've taken a breath and thought about whether I can actually commit to that." You don't need to be everything to everyone, especially not when you're running on fumes. Number 4, prioritize with intention, not panic. When life feels out of balance, your brain tries to fix everything at once. Instead, pick 3 priorities. One thing that needs to get done, one thing that supports your well-being, and one thing that can wait on purpose. Write them down. Let them guide your day, not your inbox, not your to-do list explosion, not the guilt. Number 5, name the imbalance without shame. This is one of the most powerful steps. Say it out loud or write it down. I've been pouring everything into this area, and I've let this other area slide. That doesn't mean I failed, it just means I need to rebalance. Naming it gives you power. It turns shame into insight, and insight is where change begins. One small shift can change everything. You don't need to be perfectly balanced to start healing. You just need to notice where you've tipped too far and give yourself permission to shift gently back. You're not lazy, you're not failing, you're just tired, and your body is asking for something different. So here's today's reflection. What's one area of life you've been overfunctioning in? And what's one small way you can ease up? Leave a comment if you'd like. Your insight might help someone else feel less alone. And if this spoke to you, subscribe for more slow, honest conversations about burnout, boundaries, and real recovery, one small step at a time. Take care. Thanks so much for joining me, and hope to see you in the next one.